Konnichiwa, konbanwa, gozaimasu, minasan. Kyo wa tsugi no doubusu desu ne. Tori desu ka? Kaeru desu ka? I don't know. We'll see. Kaeru to omoimasu. Today is the next animal. I gotta drink a cold beverage, so I'm leaning frog. I couldn't remember how to say frog in Japanese. Turns out I don't know how to say frog in Japanese. I think I know how to say toad. Um, but it's kaeru, which is interesting because it's pronounced the same as like to return or to go home. And I was like, wow, okay. Oh, snap. It's my journey buddy. Hey, Em, how's it going? But yeah, we got the bird. We have the. Oh, wow. Did I not shuffle the deck? We have the bird. We have the frog as our last two animals. I'm interested to see. Again, the vibe is kind of froggy. I'm interested to see if it is a bird. If it's a bird, I'm feeling nightingale, but I don't know. It could be the owl because we've been seeing the owl. Oh, let me turn on my. Let me turn it on. Excuse me. Konnichiwa, konbanwa, ohayo gozaimasu, minasan. Welcome to another video. Hello. To another video. I guess I'm gonna get the animal first. The only cards, the only decks I have out. Look, Nightingale at the cup with the zebra. I only have the places and the animals because I feel like depending on the animal, it'll determine which decks I kind of go for. So I'm gonna give it two more of these and a cut, and then I'll pull from the top, and whichever one comes out first, be it a bird or the frog, that's where we'll go. And then we'll only have one left. I'll have read all four of the additional animals. There's the Neko, the Inu, the Tori, the Kaeru, and then the Ryu, I think. Ryu's dragon. All right, we've already done the cat a minute ago. The dragon was yesterday. The day before was the dog through the wolf. Apparently, watermelon lime is the vibe. Bonus points galore. Okay, all right, let's go. Flipping from the top. No need for more preamble. The whale, the frog, and the hawk. Okay, see, it is the frog. I was spelling froggy today. Bottom of the deck is the crocodile. Whale and crocodile is such an interesting energy. Such an interesting energy. Kaeru. 今日はカエルですね。カエルだよ。I was feeling the frog. I was like, you know. Now, again, it's interesting that Kaeru is the same as Kaeru, like to return. And because it's return, I was like, well, it's returning to the water, question mark? Because, you know, as a tadpole, they're in the water. Then they grow legs. They come out of the water. They live around water. There's also like a depth to the whale and a height to the hawk. We saw the hawk yesterday with the dragon. We saw the whale, I think at the bottom of the deck maybe, with the dog. This crocodile, it feels like it gathers beyond just like waiting for an opportune moment to strike. It feels like it's gathering power. But it's like it's doing it quietly, like quietly gathering influence type energy. and not necessarily in a like a behind the scenes kind of way, just in a way where it hasn't been noticed. So it's almost giving me, is it like when frogs hibernate, like frozen frogs or something, and they kind of just sit there until it warms up and then they like thaw. The shopping mall at the bottom of the deck, I just came from the mall. Our mall is, it has two stores in it remaining, so it's not completely dead, but you walk in and it's like the nostalgia hits so hard. Like there used to be a Walden Books in there and a KB Toys, and it was like, you know, your Sabaro pizza. It was just like this magical place when I was like 5, 6, 7. And now that I'm 33, it's sad. You know what? That was actually another thing that came, and I don't know if it's necessarily going to be related to the energy of the frog just because the shopping mall was at the bottom of the deck. There was an energy of like forced narratives, right? Like there's a narrative about our mayor, and it's like, well, he should be doing this and he should be doing that, and like the reason why the town is blah 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 whatever, it's all his fault. And it's interesting because he put in a bid on the mall to bring it back to life, but they wouldn't sell it to him. So there's this narrative that he's allowing whatever to happen when he did his due diligence to prevent the outcome or to change things, to improve things, to make things better, but he wasn't allowed to. And it's interesting because it's almost like the understanding is there, but it's forfeited for the sake of the narrative that's being sort of promoted. So that, with this crocodile underneath, with that like the thawing frog, it's interesting energy. We did get a few places that flipped over. We have the shopping mall again, and the toy store, not the shopping mall and the toy store, when I was literally talking about KB Toys and Walden Books, but it was like, you know, like the Go Fish thing that would be out in the front back when they used to have the little robot dogs. You would see the little robot dogs out front. That is wild. Bottom of the deck is the coffee shop. As I got my Dunkin', okay, maybe I need to chill. Is this the vibe? Is this the energy? Is this the reading, or is it me? Endless options, playful imagination, and then solitude and socializing. Maybe it is the energy. Solitude and socializing, giving that. Is this the environment? I guess this is the environment. Usually, shopping mall and toy store read like destinations. It's the place where something happens, right? But I guess it's the environment. Endless options, playful imagination. It's also interesting because I had a dream last night and I was gonna send it to someone. I had a dream last night that someone was supposed to do something, but I'm like, how are they supposed to do this? Because like they're not able to for whatever reason. I don't remember. But they did. And it's almost an energy of something where it's like belief, where belief is the strongest contributor, indicator, dictator of whether or not something will happen. And I feel like with this like inner child, endless options, playful imagination, it's very like almost like playing pretend. But things actually happen. Interesting. Can y'all hear all that? Okay. So, flipping from the top, the environment is the toy store and the shopping mall. Let's see the road, hotel, office, workplace, spiritual realm. Spiritual realm is going to be the road, just like the lighthouse was the road yesterday. I'm not surprised that the spiritual realm is the road because of that energy of imagination making something true. The destination, the ship floating escapade exploring horizons. I'm not going to take the ship as a destination, and not for the reason necessarily why I didn't take the gym as the destination yesterday. Like, part of the ship feels like a destination, even though the ship in and of itself is something like mobile. Like, the ship moves, the ship isn't stagnant. The fire station. City's first responders, readiness to respond. Now, when I first did this, it was a much more natural energy. So, like, fire station wouldn't qualify as a destination. I don't know, something about the ship in the fire station, readiness to respond and exploring horizons. It, for the same reason that the ship doesn't feel like the ship resonates with destination energy, but it doesn't feel like the destination. The fire station is kind of the same. Like, as someone is on that ship traveling and moving, they're doing fire stationy type things, right? It's almost like when you have a traveling nurse. It's almost like a traveling nurse energy, where along the way you kind of like help people wherever you go, but still not feeling like the destination, the wedding, excuse me, the aquarium. I mean, aquarium would make sense, frogs returning to the water, mesmerizing discoveries, underwater world. Let's see, I'll fill it. Arcade, under the stars, night's canvas, universe unveiled. I think this is where we're going to end. And then the theater, venue of storytelling, let the story unfold. Under the stars in the theater. Aromatic brew, solitudes, and socializing. Coffee shop still at the bottom of the deck. We have a complex setting. We have a complex destination. I almost feel like, too, like, honestly, we could have taken the ship and the fire station, because there isn't necessarily a set destination to this energy, because it is so endless, open, imaginative. Like, the limit is coming from the inside. Like, the call is coming from the inside, the limit is coming from the inside. And it's almost an energy of one of those, like, test your strength meters, where, like, the stronger you are, the higher it goes. I don't know what decks I'm gonna pull. I don't, you know what I mean? I mean, I've used the Wide Unknown Alchemy for like everything up to this point. Um, I don't know. Like, I could pull before and after spring for the energy of like when things defrost and thaw out. I kind of want to do something with that. I don't even have the Enchanted Map Oracle anymore. I was gonna say I could pull before and after Deep Freeze, but I don't have that. I don't have that deck. We could do the Awakener and the Archeo archetypes. I think I'm kind of feeling that. The frog in its dormant hibernating state may have a different archetypal energy than when it awakens. Because again, with this crocodile energy, there's like amassing power or something. Like a metamorphosis, and frogs do that. They start from tadpoles and then they go to, is polywog? I don't think polywog is the, like when they have the hind legs, and then the frog when they have the front legs too. What's a polywog? Mm, polywog. Polywog is a thing, right? A polywog is another common name for a tadpole. Oh, it's the same. The aquatic larval stage of an amphibian like a frog or toad. That is crazy. It's accurate, but it is so crazy to call tadpoles larvae. I mean, again, like if you think of maggots to flies and whatever, yeah, but like bugs are larvae. You know what I mean? And frogs eat bugs. I'm kidding. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I could actually use the Lafruma for Bifrost. Return home. And we have Spiritual Realm. So it would fit. Let's go for the Lafruma. We're gonna look before and after Bifrost. Is there a thawing card in Lafruma? If there is, I can't think of it. We're gonna do Bifrost from Lafruma, the Archeo, the Awakener. And I feel like I need tarot, but maybe I don't. Okay, that's where we'll go. I will be right back. I must gather the materials. Okay. Gemini was struggling today. So I had to move the Gilded Tarot Royale to get to the Archeo archetypes. And I still kind of want a tarot deck because the spiritual realm is the road. I don't feel like I necessarily need one. Oh, that hasn't happened in a minute. I looked down and it's like all of a sudden it was like not a full woozy. I used to get the woozies all the time, but it was like, whoa, what was that? Oh, and now I got chills, and now I'm low key kind of freezing. Wow. Okay. Oh, it's spreading. They're spreading. What's happening? Oh, now it's like heat. Now it's a little heat. Got a little kick to it. What is going on? What are all of these sensations? Needle, Adel, and Haggle. Needle Mend, Legacy Original Birthright with Adel, and Hail Weathering. Interesting. Okay. I'm looking for here, this Journey Home, Bifrost, Hemworld, because of the Kairu return. It was next to Overlook. And then there's Thorn, the giant portal. So when I saw Needle at the bottom of the deck, I was thinking Thorn. See, because Needle to like stitch or sew on, it's almost giving me like if there's a tapestry that is our story, our life, our whatever. That original birthright is a patch that you sew onto the tapestry, and then it changes things. Excuse me. It almost like doesn't matter where you put it. I feel like it's giving me a movie. I feel like I've seen this. A movie. I don't think it's like a movie or an anime. I feel like it's a movie, not even a TV show. I feel like there's a movie where it's like there's a something, and then there's like a patch or something, and they're like, hurry up, and then like they rush and they put it on the thing and they sew it into the thing, and then something happens. They do the thing and then bang and then boom and bam and everything changes. Hang true with Thorn. Interesting. That was like I was like, ooh. Okay, one more. And we'll give it a cut. I don't know if I'm gonna use you. Use you. The Metamorph was the final card the last time I used this deck. And this is, again, I think out of the Dragon, Cat, Dog, Bird, and Frog, the Frog is the only one that has that metamorphic energy. There's also something with the frog's ability to return to the water when it wants, right? It is an energy of transformation, but it's not like the frog never goes back to the water. You know what I mean? Oh, I didn't even flip the. We have, who is this? The trickster, Grace, and the jester at the bottom. An evolution of trickster energy. It's like it loses the tail, or does it? The tail could just be tucked in his pants or wrapped around him like a belt. Anyway. Oh, no, I feel like my lower back is itching. Okay. Oh, there's the Awakener. The Awakener is in between the midwife and the poet. Between the midwife and the poet lies the Awakener. This is an interesting energy. It makes me think of when we saw the Duende. Was it the Duende and the poet? Because there was an energy like it went from the Hirite to the Duende. The Hirite is like a feeling, a very strong feeling with no cognitive link. But then it's almost like as you explore it with the poet, then the feelings get stronger. We saw that it was with the big cats. That was the big cats, wasn't it? Because that was Kate She People. It's like with the duende and the poet, the more you sort of like indulge in it, the more you explore it, the clearer the picture gets. And then with the poet and the midwife, it's like as you continue to go there, you give birth to it. She's almost giving Athena like energy. How she, like Zeus had a headache. I think somebody like cracked his head with a hammer, and then Athena popped out, hatched from an egg, fully grown, fully matured. So there could be an energy of like missing out on someone's childhood, having to mature like really quickly. Also, parental headache drama. Not drama necessarily, just like that kind of. And it's interesting that today is like birth of Athena because I feel like there was a birth of Venus energy that we saw either for the dragon or for the dog. I don't remember which one. And see, but that's the same energy. It was the Hegel weathering under the original birthright. Like someone's original birthright has stood the test of time. Maybe not necessarily integrated and woven into the fabric of their daily life, but it's been there. And they can weave it in. You can weave it in if it resonates for you, whenever. But it's also like understand that to weave something like that into the fabric of your life is to change your life irrefutably. I feel like that's the word I want. But again, like the frog, it's not like you never go back to the water, but things will be changed. I feel like we had that crocodile with this frog energy. It also speaks to potential. And I feel like the energy of potential came out recently. It was like if you compress a spring, you fill it with potential. And then when you release it, that potential is translated into kinetic energy and whatever else, into movement and other things. Why am I picking up my phone? I don't remember. There was something I was going to look up. It's fine. Okay. Yeah, let's just do it. Can you feel it? That came out yesterday. Can you feel it? The Arbiter is at the bottom of the deck. We saw the Arbiter in this deck recently. Was she there for the KC people for the big cats? I don't remember. See, but there's something again, there's something that she can't see, but she's giving it more and more weight. Like there's something happening from the Hiraeth to the Duende to the midwife. Like something is being given birth to, and I feel like it makes so much sense that it's here with this endless possibilities toy store inner child type energy, because it's like there's no logical connection. It's not very mature or realistic. It's something that, like, growing up, you're told, like, that's just pretend, it's imaginary, forget about it. People assume that someone will mature out of something. Again, with that original birthright that has been weathering. Maybe it's a little tattered, but it's still functional. It can definitely be mended, if nothing else. But again, like that's why the power of belief can come in and do what, like, the poet has sat and meditated upon and expressed and felt into and drawn so close to the thing. The roadway is the spiritual realm. So again, it makes sense. And now it's like it's getting to the point where it's so heavy, even though it can't be seen and it hasn't been seen. It's getting so heavy. It's almost like it's gathering so much spiritual energetic weight that the materialization of it, the actualization of it, the manifestation, if you want, of it becomes inevitable. This is one of those energies where something goes from impossible to inevitable. And again, with the crocodile, just like gathering power, gathering weight, gathering momentum in the background. It wasn't like, again, it's like it's not necessarily in the background, it's just like not seen. Something interesting was happening. I don't know. I know I'll flip that card over. Where is it? There it is. Bottom of the deck over here, we have Lafruma, Elven Light Benefic. Of course it's Lafruma. Interesting. I don't. We could. I don't know. Anyway, all right. We're gonna read this from left to right because that's how I'm feeling it, and maybe we'll get some tarot to bridge the middle. I don't know what deck I'm gonna use. I'm going by the width of this table, this thing. There's probably room for one card, unless we build the thing, the vertical. I kind of, especially off of this shopping mall toy store, it kind of feels right to build the vertical because this, it's like a story. The vertical is the spine of the book that binds the pages. I don't know if I'll do it with that deck. Okay, let's go. Let's go from the inside. from the inside out. On the side of the Lafruma, we have number 17, Tear Smelt. Look at it. Oops. Double arrow, upward arrow. Because Tear Smelt is here, it is almost an energy of like, you wouldn't necessarily want to, again, even in the dream, I was the skeptic, limiting. I feel like I was more skeptical than like a limiting whatever. Because I'm just like, how are they supposed to do this? In the dream, it happened through song. It was like somebody was singing, and I'm like, but then whatever happened, I'm like, okay, I don't understand it, but I don't need to. You know, I don't need to understand it. Which is such an interesting contrast to the dream that I had the night before of the little lady who fell. Anyway, so I feel like with Tear being here, there is almost like a dusting off, a mending, right? Like if it is a patch that you weave, I can see it in my mind. I feel like this is a thing that I've seen in real life, and I wish I could remember. Oh wait, oh no, no. I'm like, was it Courage the Cowardly Dog? I don't know. It's like you put the thing on and you hurry up and you stitch it into the thing, and then something happens. It's like with the patch that is the original Birthright, because Tear Smelt is here. I think smelting is about like purifying. There's an element of purification to it. Like you may want to mend it a little bit before you just like weave it into the fabric, or that mending may happen. A process that uses heat and a chemical reducing agent like carbon to extract the base metal from its raw ore, separating out unwanted impurities. Okay. So I feel like that makes sense in terms of, because if it's necessary, it doesn't feel like it necessarily has to be necessarily. Because there is, again, it's the energy of something that could have been there for a long time. And it's something that like someone was expected to mature out of. And so the mending and the smelting of that original Birthright energy may be like detaching all these hooks of like what is realistic, what is feasible. You know what I mean? It's like being called to an idea, but being overly analytical and logical and thinking and reasoning about it in a way that limits it, instead of just like feeling into it, breathing life into it, nurturing it, allowing it to gather weight and be what it is and to set its own path. Again, the road here is the spiritual realm. So it's not as physically bound as any physical pathway. Again, like the imagination is sort of the limit. And when you start to put reality on imagination, it warps it, it twists it. And so I think the melting is going to be, again, like removing all of those hooks, removing the limiting thoughts and factors. And like, and it's not that it can't be beneficial when you're like feeling into and playing with and engaging the energy. It's not that it can't be beneficial to imagine the different ways that it can come to be, but it's like, don't limit it, don't force it down those pathways, don't like strangle it basically. right? Because on a certain hand, like, that's part of the play and part of the imagination is like, how can this thing come to be? But also, there needs to be enough room left for it to breathe. And as it breathes, it's like it like spreads or something. I feel like I see it in my mind's eye. And I'm like, I know I've watched this. Oh, look who's back. The poet. So before the Awakener is the poet. And I went looking for the Awakener because it's that energy of the thaw, right? When the frogs thaw out and they wake back up. I think the thing too, I'm curious to see what's on the other side of the Awakener, because the poet is the like the fantasy, the dream, the building it up. It hasn't necessarily coalesced yet at the poet, and I'm interested to see it almost take shape and take form on the other side. This isn't something I necessarily would have expected from the frog. And I feel like the whale and the hawk are just like, the whale speaks to the depth at which this thing was not implanted or imparted. What's weird? I have this like almost brain freezy. You know when you get a brain freeze sometimes and it's like behind your eyeball? It's almost that. The whale speaks to the depth at which it exists within the frog. Which is why, again, like dreaming and waxing poetic, feeling into it draws it to the surface. Maybe it's warmed by our consciousness, it's nurtured by our consciousness, right? So if we warm it, it'll thaw and come back to life and thrive. But if we put more ice on it, then it could like wither and shrivel up and become more torn and more tattered. Because it's also hail, right? Hail weathering, Hegel, Hegel. It's like being torn, like chipped away at by these ice pellets. I don't know how big, like, sometimes hail can be the size of like golf balls or baseballs or pebbles. We'll go here first. Are you serious? Well, it's the midwife. It's fine. The midwife being here is actually interesting because there's an energy now of like, it doesn't even matter what the thing is, because more than the frog is giving birth to this idea, to this thing or whatever, the frog is actually giving birth to themselves. So the thing that the consciousness of the frog is warming is the thing that's nurturing the frog. It's almost like, for example, someone gathering a paternal instinct or gaining a paternal instinct, right? And caring for something. Yes, it's about nurturing the thing, but it's also like how the person grows as a parent type energy, like who they become through nurturing something else. Because it's almost like, spoiler alert, like the power lies within you. It's not about the feeling, it's not about the idea, it's not about the whatever. Anything that you invest in can grow, will grow. And once that awareness it's like once that realization happens, then the frog invests in themselves. You know what I mean? And then it's like whatever. On the other side of the fruma, we have stankness, scent tested. This is connected to the dragon, to dragon energy. We just saw the dragon yesterday. Also, I'm pretty sure towards the end of the dragon, did we not see the frog? Was I not like, oh, I wonder if the frog will be next? Am I making it up or did it happen? I don't know. I feel like it actually happened. And I like, again, I feel like this stankness is it's not a test, but it's because, again, it feels like the midwife being here is a little bit of a spoiler. And it's actually kind of like this is something that I would expect the Ivory Shield or the High Priestess or a title card to be around. Maybe that's why the dragon energy is here again. Because part of the dragon was being good for goodness sake and not being good because you want presents from Santa Claus. It feels like to say that who you become is more important than what you're nurturing could sidetrack someone from nurturing the thing. Because it's like it's through investing in the thing that you ultimately like investing in the thing is the smelting, is the purification. And so if you go like immediately into investing into yourself rather than developing those instincts or whatever, then they're not going to be there. And thankness and tested, that is, it's not a trial, it's not a testing, it's not a proving, it's just like a maybe like a de facto sort of border where it's like either you do or you don't. It's not a test. But if we seek entry or passage into something, then we will be tested. Right? It's like if there's a void, there's like a stairway through space. There's this side of the door, there's something over here, and then in between, there's like no oxygen. So you have to hold your breath for 10 seconds. I don't know. Right. So that passageway isn't a test. It just is what it is. Like there's an environment in which there is no oxygen. It's not a test, but you have to go through it if you want to get to the other side. Getting through it may test us, but the thing in and of itself isn't a test. Anyway, again, but the reason why I would have expected to see this midwife here um behind like a title card energy again because it feels like it can be distracting. I see the hawk here. Is this tapping back into that soul journeying and peregrination? Maybe. Maybe. It is. Under the Stars and the Theater. Under the Stars and the Theater is also an interesting energy. Because if you think of constellations as representing Perseus or whoever, it's almost like in the stars you can watch the story play out. with Under the Stars in the theater. Universe unveiled. Universe unveiled and let the story unfold. And again, it's like it's that let the story unfold as the universe is being unveiled. Again, and that's like really tapping into that energy of not constraining, restraining, strangling, putting something in a chokehold to the point that it can't become what it is. The spiritual realm, oh, it's unveiled again. Dimensions of the divine, cosmic energy unveiled. Cosmic energy unveiled, the universe unveiled. Yeah, that's why it felt like it resonated. I could have asked Gemini. Gemini's tapped into all of the everything. I'm like, what's that movie where someone was like hastily stitching something onto something so that something would happen? I wonder if Gemini would make sense of. Let's see. Hey Google, what's that movie where someone's hastily sewing and stitching something onto something so that something will happen? Oh, come on. Oh, I gotta do it again. Hey Google, what's that movie where someone is hastily stitching something onto something so that something will happen? Or was it a TV show? Searching the web.
You might be thinking of a few famous tropes/scenes, infiltrating/disguise. A character frantically sews or pins a logo, patch, or armband onto a jacket/uniform so they can sneak past security or blend into a specific group, e.g., Tenet, Mission Impossible, or Star Wars.
I haven't seen any of those.
Sabotage/bomb disarming. A character rapidly stitches a tier or closes a lining to hold an explosive device, secret message, or tracker in place, saving a life. Rapidly stitching a wound or closing up a tear on a suit, like an astronaut spacesuit in The Martian or Doctor Who, to stop an oxygen leak or prevent exposure. If you remember any specific details, like what kind of clothes, who the character was, or what genre it
It goes
was,
like, if you
let me
remember
know.
anything more, feel free to provide that information. Also, I guess we could. We're already here. She kept saying tear. I'm like, it's obviously terror. We're here. Why not? Ugh. We do still need the spine for this, right? For this story, for this book. Let's take a look. We're gonna look before and after the tear. It's interesting too that with the frog, we're looking before and after the tear. When with the dragon, we were looking around the blade. Like the tear and the blade do two different things. The tear, the tear and the blade do two different things. Well, no, the tear is the result of the blade, but to stitch a tear is different than to cleave with a blade. Let's look through here and put the tear. Oh, look, it's right there. The thread, the animal. The animal is the frog, obviously, or is it? Look, the thread and the tear. You use thread to stitch the tear. Oh, and G. And then the king is on the other side of that thread. Oh, wait. This in reverse, this upright, this in reverse. Okay. And then we'll end it. It's like you've done an amazing job just keeping the flame of something alive. But in the process, again, it just feels like there is some kind of maybe someone's picked up some limiting thoughts along the way that they don't need. Just got a few cards that flipped. Oh, girl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards that flipped over. We have Apocalypsis, the Mystic, the Storm, Kairos, and the Tear. Okay, well, I guess I don't know if I'm going to take all of these. Bottom of the deck is the Riddle. I feel like the energy of the Riddle here is so prevalent. Again, almost because there's an energy of having seen. It's like there's an energy of having read ahead. There was no spoiler warning, no spoiler alert. And again, it feels like again, it's read ahead. Apocalypsis and the Mystic, the Storm, Kairos, which is mythic time, and then the Tear. Ooh, okay. Ooh, the Mystic. The Mystic just fell on the deck. All right, fell on the pile. Yeah, with that energy of Apocalypsis, again, it feels like it plays into that, like everything. Well, like once you stitch that thing onto the tapestry, everything will change. And again, because we're dealing with the frog, it's not like the frog never goes back to the water. But, you know, 77, 75, 74. Apocalypsis, removing the veil of deception. Apocalypsis, removing the veil of deception. Cosmic energy unveiled. The universe unveiled. Removing the veil. Apocalypsis indicates a particularly painful time, one that unfolds when two disparate dynamics occur simultaneously, pulling the psyche in seemingly opposing directions. The first is a lifting of the veil. This means truths that have been kept in the dark are revealed, seen, and unearthed. No matter how relieving it is to witness them come into the light, an element of despair and grief follows. We also saw grief with the dragon, but it was a different kind of grief anyway. The second dynamic is the regeneration that comes from the wreckage of the revealed truth, sowing the tear, mending needle. The old narrative breaks and a new story forms. Apocalypsis energy is similar to a forest fire's devastation for the sake of regeneration. The veil lifts, and we see who and what has been hiding. From the nakedness of the truth, a child is born. A child is born? As we literally see the baby and the midwife. What? It may be time to cut the cord. Interesting. Have faith in the process. Hold on to your center. That is the only way. And then again, the mystic is here. Number 21. 21 is also the number of the world card. So we have this apocalypsis lifting of the veil with this world energy, but seeing it through the eyes of the mystic. And there's two eyes. There's there at the bottom. There's an eye at the top. Also, Kairos is an eye. After the storm. The storm is another energy that we can associate with purification, just like the frog is associated with purification. Right? I got the book. Let's see. The storm is number 47. Didn't we see 47 yesterday? It would have been in the Mystical Shaman Oracle cards. Excuse me, the whirlwind, the disorder, the chaos. Possessing an energy much like the Tarot's Tower card, the storm undoes all that is. Everything was solid, known, and relied upon is stripped away by the winds of fate. The ground becomes the sky becomes the center, and then the center disappears. The storm is a great equalizer. No matter how far we've come on the path, no matter our age, wealth, or wisdom, we can't hide from its savage winds, taming the wind that we saw yesterday. Again, there's this connection between the dragon and the frog. Their disturbing howls stir anxiety and make it impossible to see and think straight. You must wait it out. If you try to fight the storm, you will lose. A better option is to seek temporary shelter and a reliable friend. When all else fails, go within. There, for a moment, you settle into the eye of the storm. When is the next blue storm? Why do I have this? Does it matter? I could look and see. It's fine. Actually, I am curious. I'm curious when the next blue storm is because I wonder what the tone will be. Like Blue Lunar Storm is what's in my mind, but I don't know if it'll be the lunar tone. Dream spell calculator. Is it starroot.com? Yeah, it is. Red electric earth. Is that this? Yes. Are we going clockwise? No. Okay. Is this the blue storm? Is it tone 7? Yeah. So is that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days? Let's go 8, 9. August 9th. It's been a hot minute since I've been into the dream spell. So I'm not even sure if I remember how this works. Blue solar night. Okay, so that's not the storm. I don't think that's the storm. Oh, wait. They look so similar. I guess they are different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 from the 9. So let's look at August 17th. That's the monkey. Oh my god. There's only 4. Or there's 5. Which one of you was the storm? Hello? Hello. I know it's blue, so there's that. So maybe it's this one. So if we go back forward to 813. Like I said, it's been a minute. That's the blue cosmic hand. So it has to be this one. Or it's this. We only got 2 left. Let's go back to today. Today is the 3rd. Because I want the next one. I don't want to get too far sort of ahead. You know what I mean? Let's go back to the 1st. to see if that was the storm. That's the blue magnetic eagle. So it has to be this one. This one. It has to be you. The seed is yellow, so that's not the seed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that puts me back at the 13th. Hello? Was I not just there? I'm sorry, y'all. No, it's this one. So this will be the 4th. I went counterclockwise instead of clockwise. Or would that be the 5th? The 4th. I feel like the longer I do this, the more confused I get. It is the 5th. Okay, goodness. I'm going like literally on the 5th. It's the blue overtone storm. So the next blue storm has the overtone tone. I guess I can read it for you. So August 5th is a blue overtone storm. It's a galactic activation portal. Interesting. Galactic activation portal, cosmic energy unveiled, universe unveiled, apocalypses, the veil of deception removed, eyes of the mystic. The next blue storm is the blue overtone storm. It's a galactic activation portal. I empower in order to catalyze commanding energy. I seal the matrix of self-generation with the overtone tone of radiance. I am guided by the power of accomplishment. I am a galactic activation portal. Enter me. Kin number 239, harmonic number 60, rhythmic matrix self-regulate, universal fire of equality, loom of 13 moons, gap kin. I don't know. It's 5. The 5th tone is the overtone tone. We saw 5s with the dragon. There was a 55 of Tame the Wind. There was a 41-5 of the rainbow. Anyway. Also, Hamfereld was next to Overlagoo before I flipped it. Overlagoo, Overtone, all this cosmic energy unveiled, galactic activation portal day. We'll be done. 8-5, because tomorrow is the bird, and then that's all the animals. I'm not doing the cat again. I could do the cat again, but I'm not going to do the cat again. So then, after the storm is Kairos, mythic time, and then the tear, the tear. I'm looking at the tear because the eye. There are eyes all over this. Excuse me. After the tear is the tear, is the womb. Or the stone, sorry. After the tear is the stone, not the womb. But the stone is the frog. The stone is the frozen frog before it thaws out. Am I going to keep this? Am I going to put it back? The riddle is here. Because the riddle is here, and the Fifth, the blue overtone storm is a galactic activation portal. There may be something. Take it as resonate. If it resonates, if it don't resonate, don't take it. I feel like I haven't necessarily given my disclaimer in a hot minute. Because I almost wonder if there won't be an opportunity. Because again, it's not to shortcut the process necessarily by prematurely investing into oneself to the degree that the things that are for us to invest into, like atrophy, suffer, die, wither, decompose, whatever. But because of the riddle and the stone, it almost feels like a time to be more. It's like to borrow power from tomorrow, to tap into who you will become, because maybe it'll be necessary or maybe it'll be needed. Like you may have to really step up in a way. And it feels like, if this resonates for you, it feels like it'll be effortless. And it feels like one of those things, like you'll step up, you'll handle something, you'll be a boss. And then afterwards, you're almost like, I didn't know I had that in me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how did I do that? I'm going to do it one more time to make this fine. Um, but yeah, interesting. Because I wasn't necessarily like looking for all them guys to come at me, you know what I mean? And honestly, it feels a little bit out of time, but it could be the like formative experience that somebody needs. It's like that teaser, that trailer, that taste, that little bit of whatever. And especially because of the smelting, especially because there's an energy of like needing to dust off the cobwebs, needing to unhook limiting thoughts and beliefs. So there may be a little bit of a preview that helps you do that. Remove those limiting beliefs, that helps you just feel into it, breathe into it, and let it be what it's going to become. Almost like, one of those TV shows where time travel is a thing and there's a couple and they meet their child from the future. And, like technically they're not supposed to, but they do. And then, like, oh my gosh, we're like so excited to meet you. We can't wait until we have you. Type energy. All right. Let's do 1, 2, 3. Who was that? I think I may have accidentally put. I did. The stone is. I accidentally put the stone upright too. So hey, it's fine. We'll do a before and after the stone, and before and after the tear. I guess this was a long time ago. The castle at the bottom. Um, there was the stone, which was the ring. There was like the princess. So there was the queen. There was a princess who became a queen, and then the queen had a daughter who became the new princess after the old princess was the queen. So when the old princess was becoming the queen and was getting married, the witch showed up to the wedding in a very Maleficent type way, and she gave the princess what looked to be a stone. And the princess who was becoming queen was like, "Ew, like a stone? Really? That's all you have to give me on my big day? A rock? Not only did you sully my wedding with your rankness, but this is what you bring?" She casts out the witch. The kingdom is cursed. Princess is born. The princess ends up on this journey. Princess and the frog, right? The frog is also cursed. The frog is a prince whose kingdom was also cursed. Like everybody was turned into frogs. It has been a minute since this energy came out. But the prince was like, they were both curse breakers, basically. So then the curse the princess, the cursed princess, and the cursed frog are going to be married. The witch shows back up, right? The queen is obviously at the wedding. The witch shows back up. At this point, the queen has kind of had like a 180. She's realized, the whatever of her ways. The witch asks the queen if she still has the stone, and the queen is like, "Of course. Like the reason why everything fell apart. Of course, I still have it." But it's revealed to be a ring, and it's the ring that is exchanged between cursed princess and cursed prince, and it breaks the curses on both of their kingdoms. That was like years ago. What is necessary is such a we got the underworld and the crone. Crone in reverse, kind of. The crone in reverse, the stone in reverse, the underworld upright. Let's turn them upright. The crone number 13, the underworld number 48. Oh, look, 47, 48. No, no. The stone is 68. The underworld is 48. This is, oh, girl. The crone in the underworld is obviously given a like Hecate type energy. The tear, we have the river and the mystic. I put these back in different parts of the deck. So the mystic is there again. Well, the tear wasn't immediately next to the mystic before. Between the mystic and the tear, we had the storm and Kairos. The river is here in reverse. The river in the underworld, if we're in the Greco-Roman pantheon, there are 5 rivers. I would say that we are in the river Lethe. I think the river Lethe is the one of forgetfulness, because we're coming off of that Hiraeth Dewinde poet into the midwife. It's like someone is remembering and recalling something deep because the whale is here. Is there a goddess associated with the Lethe? River Lethe? Lethe? It's a river in Alaska. What? Are you serious? Yeah, Lethe is the river, or is it Lethe or Lethe? I don't know, bro. Lethe. It's the river of forgetfulness. But apparently, the river Lethe is located 18 kilometers west of Mount Katmai, Alaska Peninsula. and is the middle branch of the Ukok River. There's a river in Alaska that leads to the underworld. And I'm like cold. There has been like this chill that's like coming in. River leaf goddess. Let's see. Oh, the goddess of forgetfulness. Both an underworld river of oblivion and the goddess of forgetfulness. She personifies oblivion, unmindfulness, and concealment. Daughter of Eris, according to the poet Hesiod, she is the divine spirit and personification of forgetfulness. So the tear could be something in like someone's memory, like torn a page out of a book. Has anyone successfully navigated the river leaf without forgetting? I'm just curious. Dante, what? AI overview. In literary and ritual tradition, figures like Dante Alighieri and those who visited the Oracle of Trophonius navigated the Lethe without permanent oblivion. In classical mythology, the primary purpose of the river Lethe is absolute erasure, but specific traditions introduce exceptions or a dual stream process. In Dante's Purgatorio, the poet wades into the river Lethe at the peak of Mount Purgatory. However, it only washes away the memory of his mortal sins rather than his entire life. He then drinks from a second invented river called Uinui or Unoi to restore and strengthen the memory of his good deeds. The EU in Unoi or whatever reminds me of like truth or true. The Oracle of Trophonius. Ancient visitors to the subterranean oracle in Lebedea had to drink from two ritual springs in sequence. First, Leaf, to forget their previous anxious thoughts, and then Mnemosyne, the goddess of memory, to ensure they remembered their visionary experience in the sacred cave. We have the mystic here. And this is why I went looking, because we have the mystic with this river. And if you got the mystic, obviously the mystic isn't going to forget, right? Because she's the mystic. It's also interesting because the energy of oracles came out at the end of that dragon reading, I think. I think. No, the energy of oracles had to come out. I was going to say it had to come out for the wolf because of the hot springs, and there was an energy of like the gases giving clarity to break the hallucination. But also, we saw the coyote and the ghost dance from the mystical shaman oracle cards. I think it was the final card, the coyote with the ghost dance at the bottom of the deck, and it gave us similar energy. Interesting. What's it? Oh, the dual stream process has to be the river of memory and the river of forgetfulness. Something mentioned anxiety. What mentioned anxiety? Was it the storm that mentioned anxiety? Oh, what number was the storm? I don't remember. 47? The whirlwind, the chaos, the disorder. Possessing an energy much like the tower cart, the storm undoes all that is. Everything that was solid, known, and relied upon is stripped away by the winds of fate. The ground becomes the sky becomes the center, and then the center disappears. Their disturbing howls stir anxiety and make it impossible to see and think straight. But then the mystic can engage the river Lee to forget their previous anxious thoughts and then drink from the river of the goddess of memory to ensure they remembered their visionary experience. I mean, but again, that could just be the energy of like in the process. And it does sit here. The mystic sits on top of Tyr, the river sits on top of the poet, and the tear is cut. It bridges them, it's in between. Right. And there was a thing with smelting where you learn, like where you unlearn a lot of limiting beliefs and you allow for this thing deep inside of you to be what it is. Interesting. Okay. I don't know if we've gone too far. But let's get final cards. That was the frog. The Thaw. What card is that? The Mystic went on top of Anima Mundi. Of course it did. Wait, there's a card between them, isn't it? No, it's not. The Mystic went on top of Anima Mundi. Shouldn't be surprised. There's something that the frog must forget in order for it to remember. Anima Mundi just flipped over with the orphan at the bottom of the deck. Interesting. The soul of the world, all that is, the child of all that is. Anima Mundi epitomizes the principle accept all, reject none. Simply put, it is the living soul of the world in all its multifaceted, multidimensional layers, bonded together by loving cosmic forces. Diversity is celebrated, multiplicity is honored, and nothing is denied embrace. Constructs of separation dissipate into the wonderful mess of shared consciousness. Anima Mundi is the link between the literal and the imaginal, the rational and the mythic. It is the connective fiber that makes life meaningful. This card indicates an initiation on the level of the soul. You will awaken the unique light within and witness how this light contributes to the radiance of the entire universe. You will sense yourself as a critical note in the cosmic orchestra. Destiny is altered as you hear the enchanted melody of all living things. And apparently, the frog is the orphaned child of all of that. There are things that must be forgotten in order to remember. I feel like that energy came out recently. It was the big cats. When we went looking around the big cats, it was between the no, maybe between the lion and the jaguar. I remember there was the spider and I think the hawk, because it was that like seeing everything. but then seeing our place in everything. And that, like, you are a critical note in the song of the orchestra. Because sometimes when we're a single player in the choir, we feel so small as if to be insignificant or irrelevant, but we have a vital contribution. You, Frog, have a vital contribution. And that's why it's important that you not put any limitations on whatever. You know, I'm just the person that pulled the ink and paper. But there's something mighty that has been stirring within you, brewing within you. Oh, what's the word? Gestating. Something mighty's been gestating within you. Look, there's the Hiraeth. The Hiraeth is at the cut with the trickster, thinking that it's only your imagination or it's only a dream or whatever. See, the trickster is clever. Because we live life when we incarnate, there are certain things that it's like in order to be subjected to what life on earth is, there are certain things that we have to forget, right? There are certain things that we're not allowed to necessarily know, not allowed to. But it's almost like that trickster energy is circumventing. It's like everyone has to drink from the river. The trickster energy is circumventing that forgetfulness in a way that doesn't violate that forgetting that we have to undergo. And so maybe it's through feeling a dream, a song, or whatever. It's like it triggers this recollection of something that that we were supposed to have forgotten. And that's the trickster actually helping the frog in some way to remember what they have forgotten. But if the frog just dismisses it as, like, or whatever, then it doesn't gather enough weight to, like, be recalled. If I had to, original birthright at the cut with Leech, but it's almost giving me like leave. Well, also the original birthright has been tattered, worn, it's been bled, it's been leached. You go through life, you have experiences. That's somebody pouring life back into it, though. If I were a pulling man, and I am, I would pull in the mystical shaman oracle cards around soul retrieval, but I won't. So, Sunstetter. Sunstetter was at the cut with your. Sunstetter was the community room. And when I was raking it, it was very much a like tell my story type energy. And so it's interesting that it would make an appearance with this energy of the things that had to be forgotten for someone to incarnate. Oh, look! Now there's the nightingale with the crocodile. I mean, we did see the storm. Now we have the nightingale with the bat. Blue Overtone Storm, August 5th, 2026. It's a galactic activation portal. The tiger at the bottom of the deck. Interesting. I also love that the dragon and the frog both had. I feel like, honestly, though, all of the paths have been non traditional. The airport came out for the wolf, which was like airways that I didn't originally account for. The dragon was the wishing well, where the environment was the lighthouse. The frog is the spiritual. No, the spiritual realm as a road isn't surprising, especially when the environment is like inner child. You know what I mean? But I was thinking like the trail and the river and these other things, and none of them have come out yet. I mean, the bird could still take one of those. Social media just flipped over. Digital networking, global interactions with the volcano right behind it. Nature's furnace, creation and destruction. Global interactions, creation and destruction. With digital networking and nature's furnace. Okay. What's at the bottom of the deck? The parking lot. Temporary holding area journey paused. There's a pause on the journey where we have this creation and destruction with social media. I don't know if that's giving like, a period of evaluation or mediation where things could change. Maybe we're headed down one path, but in this holding area, we get to go down another. Now, what's interesting about this, I had a dream a while ago because, of course, I did. I'm always dreaming. Um, in that dream, though, it wasn't a volcano; it was a mountain. In the dream, I woke up in this building. I had like come down an elevator. Right, the doors open. I walk out. I'm like, I need to go somewhere, and someone was like, "Oh, you're looking for the mountain." Okay. In the dream, I was. It was one of those. I was in a dark place. I was frustrated. I'm like, how can we just like either speed up? Can we like speed run to the end of a timeline, or can we do some timeline separation because things are getting ridiculous, absolutely crazy? And someone's like, oh, well, if you want to do like timeline stuff or whatever, just go to the mountain. And so there was like a food court area that I passed. There was somebody who caught my attention, but I was like, I'm on a mission. I get out into the parking lot. I can see the mountains in the distance, but it's like every time, like I never made it out of the parking lot before I would wake back up, like coming out of the elevator again. So there was this loop in the dream of me like coming out of the elevator, going through the food court area, someone like, because I kept seeing the person, I'm like, okay. And then like being like, I'm trying to get to the mountain. I'm trying to get to the mountain. I'm trying to get to the mountain. In the dream, it was a mountain, not a volcano, but the energy behind why I was seeking the mountain was volcanic in nature. I never made it out of the parking lot. And then the dream shifted into something else. And I had like other things to do. That was the dream where some little dream kid taught me that stingrays are in Africa. And then I'll wake up. I'm like, stingrays aren't in Africa, are they? I Google it, and it's like, yeah, the Nigerian. Is it in like the Niger River stingray or something like that? I was like, wow, they do have stingrays in Africa. Little dream kid knew better than I did. And he was, yeah, he was going through, it was like some family drama that he was too young to really whatever. And it was a whole dream and a half. I never made it to the mountain. Um, I was increasingly distracted by, it was a guy. I was increasingly distracted by that guy. Eventually he was in the parking lot, and I was like, we like I eventually talked to him because I kept looping, trying to get to the mountain, and he was there every time. And then I was like, wow, I'm really enjoying this conversation. It's a shame I have to go to the mountain then. Never made it. But yeah, the kid had a sister, and like his dad was a pastor or a preacher, and it was like a wild. The Green Man and the Demon in reverse. Yeah. All right. Final Archeo. Ooh. Yeah, that had to be like 2020, 2021. Actually, I could probably tell you exactly when I had that dream. I think I logged it. I might not have. I don't even know what I would search. Probably mountain. Mountain. No. Maybe parking lot. You know what? Stingray, duh. Or Africa. Africa. August 23rd, 2020. I'm looking at these. I'm like, hold up, wait. I might have to read my dream journal because I'm like, what is this? August 23rd, 2020 is when I had that dream. Is Nigeria North Africa? Probably, right? North Africa is where he wanted to go. And Africa stingray. That's where the stingrays actually are, which is kind of wild. Several distinct stingray species inhabit African marine and freshwater environments, most notably the blue stingray, the rare Niger stingray, and the giant thorntail stingray. The short-tailed stingray is off roaming deep coastal waters off South Africa. The blue stingray also South Africa up to Angola and parts of Tunisia. The thorntail stingray found off southern African coasts. Niger stingray, Nigeria, Cameroon, a rare freshwater species native to the Niger. That's in the north, right? Let's do a list. Uh, this is so irrelevant. North African. It has to be the north, right? It has to be. Oof. Well, I mean, it ain't like north. If you talk about like Egypt and okay, so this is blue, Western Africa. I mean, I guess it's close though. Like if the river is up there, then yeah. Anyway, anyway, it's fine. I was like, whoa, ooh, look, the metamorph. Okay, all right. But yeah, that was 2020. So who could blame someone for trying to go up a mountain and I never made it out of the parking lot. I was bound and determined though. Okay, all right. Not yet, they said. Let's do the Fruma. Did we get a final archetype? What was the final archetype? Anima Mundi with the orphan at the bottom of the deck. That's my lunar eclipse rune. 12 static needs with my lunar eclipse rune. I think it'll be a full moon Pisces lunar eclipse. So August 28th, I guess. Five plus 20. August 25th should be the second blue storm. Let's see. "20 seals, 12 tones." August 25th is the blue crystal storm. I dedicate in order to catalyze universalizing energy. I seal the matrix of self-generation with the crystal tone of cooperation. I am guided by the power of magic. Harmonic 65, Can 259. Cosmic matrix self-regulate universal fire of presence. So that'll be the blue storm before the lunar eclipse. The blue crystal storm. So where the 5th is the blue overtone storm, the 25th is the blue crystal storm. Crystal is tone number 12. Okay. So from 5 to 12. 21 was the mystic. Oh, burst out. Lunar eclipse round? Okay. That burst in. What was it before with the lunar eclipse? I already forgot. All right, look for my claim flipper, claim fall. Yo, which is the U. U sacral. The U tree rebirths, regenerates, revitalizes itself from the inside out. Bottom of the deck is Wild Ox Untamable. 213, 13-2. Apparently, I'm on the dream spell today. Moon 2, day 13. That's 10 days after the 25th. Ooh, girl. Well, that'll be 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 would be September 1st. So September 3rd or 4th. Eve's birthday, around Eve's birthday, I believe. Oh, that's my best friend's mom's birthday too. I got a lot of best friends. I love them all. Almost all the time. No, I'm just I love 99.9% of them all the time. One of them, love shows up. Okay? How about that? Oops. Oh, what is happening? I'm just trying to zoom in. So it's the 4th. September 4th is the 13th day of the second moon. 213. and it is the red solar moon. I pulse in order to purify, realizing flow. I seal the process of universal water with the solar tone of intention. I am guided by the power of life force. Guided by the power of life force, again with this you rebirthing, regenerating, revitalizing itself from the core. From the core, it spreads out. With this wild ox untamable, again, kind of borrowing from the dragon a little bit. We don't even necessarily have to, because we saw the crocodile at the bottom of the deck. Like that, this is the reason why this energy is like untamable, unstoppable. It's because it's from the inside. It's from the inside. There's some kind of like deep awakening. I feel like to call it a deep spiritual awakening within the frog is an understatement. I'm like, where's the box? What deck is this? La Firma. Yeah, to call it a spiritual awakening is an understatement. This is the orphan of Anima Mundi, remembering who the F they are. You don't awaken to that the soul or creative force behind all things and not be untamable, unstoppable, unwhateverable, unwithable. You know what I mean? Only the bird remains, the nightingale and the earthworm. Nightingale again. We'll see which bird actually comes out tomorrow. But nightingale is the one that's really like sticking out to me. And it feels like the journey of the frog is similar to the dragon, but different. Dragonfly and the nightingale. Like the journey of the dragon, it doesn't. Because, so the frog, more than remembering, the frog is about becoming. Like the frog, the energy of the frog honestly has like a new, almost like the birth of a new archetype happens with the thawing of the frog. Whereas like dragon, like all of these other energies feel somewhat established, but the frog is like raw potential. Raw potential. It could literally be anything, even something that has a concept that doesn't even faintly exist right now. I'm not surprised though, because when the Hirai did reveal itself, it was with the trickster. So it's almost like there's a lot of almost like circumventing, even with like the energy of that galactic activation portal, like that energy of borrowing power from tomorrow. It was like, okay, not necessarily like unprecedented, but it's like typically if you were to borrow power from tomorrow, you would live your life to become the thing that you borrowed power from. But for the energy of the frog, even that would be a limitation. So it's like if the frog were to borrow power from 10 years from now, because the frog borrowed that power today, when they actually 10 years from now, they'll be much more powerful than the 10 years from the future in the past. Because that became a stepping stone to know that they could achieve like even more or even greater or whatever. They don't treat that as the ceiling. And again, there's something very it's like what would typically be hidden behind like a high priestess or a title card came out for the frog. Because again, it feels like for a lot of people, it could be dangerous in a way that it becomes like set in stone. It becomes a limit, where it would become a limit. And just like at the end of the dragon reading, when we kind of saw whatever card we saw, where it was like that energy of like, it was effort, right? Sometimes we get to a point where we kind of stop putting in effort. When we're the smartest, when we're the most capable, when we're the most whatever, we can have a tendency to kind of just coast rather than continuing to improve ourselves. Type energy. I don't know. Oh, look, there's the dragon and the butterfly. Cool. Saw the dragonfly. Now we see the dragon and the butterfly. Yeah. Again, because it's like, again, something about this frog. It's pure, unadulterated potential. Precipitated from the universe, crystallized in the form of you. And you could become something that the universe has never seen. They say that there's nothing new under the sun. They haven't met the frog. Anyway, I mean, it's potential until we realize it. But if this resonates for you, apparently you vote. So hey, can't wait to see where you are 10 years from now. All right. Final card from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirits. This felt like it flipped. It didn't flip. The tarantula. She's not your ordinary spider. And the unicorn. Well, now it's the lamb. The unicorn, one of a kind. Okay. Clean flipper, clean fall. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, okay. All right. 1. We only got 2 decks left on the table, so I guess we'll go back to the archetypes. We have the lion and the warrior. Which is interesting because of the awakener. The awakener in the card was waking up the lion. That's the lion awake with the warrior energy. And again, because of the crocodile, it was that like when the frog falls out, it's going to be. Who knows what it's going to be? It's such an interesting energy. Okay. The hero. The hero I just flipped over, bottom of the deck, is the moon cat. The moon cat does things that may be considered nonsensical or random to other people, but the moon cat knows. And then the hero. Maybe I'm glad the hero came out. If you're unfamiliar, because I've referenced it so much, and it actually hasn't come out in a minute. Like the Duende came out, which felt like an evolution of the hero. It felt like that evolution happened even more. Here, are we doing the Hero's Tail? Or are we doing, I'll read both. Mooncat was at the bottom of the deck. Oh, look, I opened right to the hero. The hero is elusive. She is the sense of loss and nostalgia we feel for a place or person. Oh, she's in reverse. For a place or person that we never knew. She is the missing, that which lingers like a dull aching grief in your bones. If you chase her, she will recede. But if you invite her to make herself known, she may approach and relieve you of your hollow longing. The hero touches something within us that sits hunched and gnawing in a corner of our souls, a vaguely conscious emotion that can never be brought to the surface and named. The Welsh have a word for this amorphous sensation, hiraeth, defined as a homesickness for a home to which you cannot return. And Kairu, the frog, returning. What? Okay, hold on. Wait 1 second. I got chills. Okay, all right. Defined as homesickness for a home to which you cannot return, a place which maybe never was, the nostalgia, yearning, or grief for lost terrains of your past, or the sadness that comes from knowing that someone who is deeply important to you is forever just out of sight. When we are young, we often believe this someone to be our kindred spirit, our love. Later, we realize the missing person resides within, and in order to negate the clinging feelings of loss, we try to mend, like with the stitching, the tear, the needle mending. We try to mend our sense of being broken by searching for a way to bring together the fragmented parts. In hindsight, the missing part of us may in reality be what it first seemed, a shadow companion whose presence will only break cover when we turn sharply to embrace it. The tale of the Hiraeth. At the library in Kew Gardens, I found a pressed iris inside a battered leather-bound atlas between Constantinople and Ab- Abyssinia. The fragile stem and stamen had been left to wait. The flower's ultramarine blue was unbleached by sunlight. When I touched its dry velvet, my mind's eye conjured up the bee-veiled face of the milliner's daughter who'd set the flower within the volume's folds. I had known this woman all my life, yet until that moment I had never seen her. A sense of longing and loss overwhelmed me. I tumbled headlong into a bittersweet revelry of relief and sadness. That is actually low key. I went to Kew Gardens once. I was gonna go another time around Christmas, but fun fact: if you're trying to go to Christmas at the Kew, girl, book it in advance. It was booked up. I mean, because it's a winter long thing. The rest of the winter was booked by like December into like, or was it November? Late November, maybe early December, booked through January to the end of whatever. Anyway, I went to Kew with Kirsty, and there was something on the map that we were trying to find, and I got this weird, like, it's only really happened there. It's never been as strong as it was there. This like weird tingle in like the marrow of my bones, like from the center of my palm to like the marrow. And let's see if I can remember who it was. I think it is Arethusa. Temple of Arethusa, Kew Gardens. Yeah, named after Arethusa, a Greek mythological nymph. Okay, well, since we in mythology, nymphs are like river folk, right? The mystic in the river, Arethusa. Who you is? Arethusa nymph? Arethusa was a water nymph and huntress who escaped the unwanted pursuit of the river god Alpheus by transforming into an underground stream that emerged as a freshwater spring on the island of Ortygia in Syracuse, Sicily. Interesting. The freshwater spring is interesting, especially because of the freshwater stingrays, the rare freshwater stingray. Anyway, and then the tale of, I'm trying to remember, the mooncat. The mooncat's tale. Sauntering down the promenade, is that how you pronounce that word? The cat came to the deserted lighthouse. He'd been trying to get into the tower for days, and this evening he finally discovered a broken window. Mounting the corkscrew steps to the lantern room, he leapt onto the empty dais to survey the horizon. Night arrived, and he was still there, his mossy eyes grown large from staring into the inky blackness. Far out on the moonless sea, a small boat bobbed, its oarsmen desperately trying to make out the shoreline. And then he saw them, two blinking pinpoints of green light beckoning him to safety. That is hilarious, especially coming off of the dragon, because the environment for the dragon was the lighthouse. Also, there was the energy of like the thing that was luminous. Something else in here reminded me of the dragon, I think. Maybe not. Its oarsmen desperately trying to make out the shoreline, and then he saw them, two blinking pinpoints of green light beckoning him to safety. I feel like, too, for some, like, I feel like that plays into the whole, like, it's important, like, whatever the thing is important, but it's only, like, its importance goes beyond just what it is. There goes all my coherence. It was that energy of like it's important for the frog to invest in something, but it's like through investing in the thing, there's something that the frog learns that they then pour into themselves. And if they don't full heartedly invest into the thing, they won't have it to pour into themselves. So it's about more than just whatever. And apparently, frog can't handle that. Because usually, again, like we'll try to shortcut whatever and immediately invest in ourselves, but then we haven't even properly, right? So if we are using the metaphor of like having a child, right? When someone is young and spry and capable, they have a kid, right? You invest into the kid, you pour into them so that when you get older, they can, take care of you. But if you don't take care of them and if you don't pour into them, what incentive are they going to have to take care of you when you get older? You know what I mean? And that whole, well, like I'm the parent, they should be obligated, that goes out the window because they remember how you treated them. So again, that's just an example of like, you have to pour into the thing before it pours back into you. Maybe that muddled it. Maybe not. Ooh, elephant and bison. Or buffalo, elephant. Interesting. Okay. Final wild unknown animal spirit. So I've been seeing the scorpion a lot. You could be a Scorpio, have Scorpio in your chart. I'm kidding. I mean, you could be. What is up with this deck? This felt like it flipped, but it didn't. It's the fox. First, it was the tarantula that felt like it flipped. Now it's the fox. What's going on with these animals? Okay. The owl flipped over. I finished the shuffle and it flipped right back over. So I did see it, but it wasn't a clean flip because it reflips. Clean flip. Oh, okay. Well, that was a clean flip. The otter and the fox. Literally, the otter was at the bottom of the deck when the fox made that noise. Now they flipped over. Bottom of the deck is the dragonfly. There is something. Also, this is earth and water. We've been seeing a lot of fire and air. Um, it's that storm, it's that apocalypse, it's that energy. But I feel like I don't have the words to communicate this. It's a lot of feelings. So I'll take it as it resonates. I feel like if I try, the words just get like jumbled up, and then like it's almost like I got butterflies. I'm like, well, all I'll say is my hope lies in you. Help me, frog. You're my only hope. Come on, man. All right. And I think that's it. I hope y'all have an amazing whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're everything in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path, journey, and way you find. Thanks, Journey Betty, for stopping by. And I guess tomorrow we will do the last animal. Maybe I'll put up a poll. Probably not. Just silently to yourself. Which bird do you think will be the flagship for the bird energy in the Dragon Cat Dog Bird Frog Pet Avengers that comes out tomorrow? To my knowledge, we've been seeing a lot of crow, we've been seeing a lot of owl. I'm feeling the nightingale. I feel like vulture could take it for some reason. Like vulture could just swoop in. And what other birds are there? There's the hummingbird, and that might be it. The owl. I mean, that can't be it. Well, there are other things in the suit of air. The peacock. There's the peacock, the owl, the nightingale, the hummingbird, the vulture. Other animals. Excuse me. I do want to do this real quick. Oops. Because I think we saw 47 in the Mystical Shaman Oracle cards. 47 was the smoky mirror. The smoky mirror represents the aspects of what is implied yet cannot be immediately known in the world. The mystery of how things come together and how they fall apart without obvious causality. This symbol also represents the shadow of the human psyche, the parts of the self that one disowns. The smoky mirror can also represent a state of denial or the inability or refusal to see the truth. I'm leaning more towards that represents the aspects of what is implied yet cannot be immediately known in the world, the mystery of how things come together and how they fall apart without obvious causality, because of the whole trickster and Heraith. When we saw the trickster and the Heraith, and it was like these ways to kind of like lead you to finding your own answer. Almost like if you're taking a test and the proctor can't give you the answer to a question, but it can ask you questions to help clarify your question. Right. If you're like, what's blah, 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 whatever. And they're like, okay, well, what's this? And you're like that. And then they're like, okay. And then if, from there, then to get to the destination, like, what would you think? And you could be like, oh, well, this, and that. And they could go like, oh, like, maybe, but if there were like another way, then like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like they lead you to an answer, guide you to an answer, help you find an answer by asking questions. It's almost like breaking the big question down into smaller questions so that it's easier for you to follow. and easier for you to like process and think through for yourself. Anyway, I hope y'all all have an amazing. I think I already said it. I'll say it again. I hope y'all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path, journey, where you find. And until next time, which bird do you think we'll see tomorrow?